Hi everyone, Ben here. Welcome to this week's episode of Happy to Health podcast. Myself, Dan and Danny are joined by a very good friend of ours, Joe Dilling. Now, Dan and I met Joe last year when we were teaching the award in mental health and exercise coaching, and both of us were just astounded by his ability to overcome quite a big obstacle, some may say. Joe has a stammer and has had that from quite a young age, and we are just honoured to share his story with you all and hope that he inspires you as much as he has inspired us. Sit back, relax and enjoy the podcast.
Hello guys, a massive welcome back to another episode of the Happy to Health podcast. I'm here with Danny and Ben as always, and I'm so excited about this episode. I'm so excited. I'm acting giddy. Essentially today we have an incredible friend of ours, Joe Dilling. We met Joe whilst we were delivering our award in mental health and exercise coaching, and we met over 200 coaches within our first year, and the friendship and bond we created with Joe from the get-go was absolutely incredible. A little bit of background, but I'm going to get him to introduce himself as well. Joe is known as the Stammer PT. He's a personal trainer. And the whole narrative of this episode is that what once Joe perceived as a setback, he has now turned into his biggest strength. Joe, honestly, I'm so excited for this episode. Thanks for being here. How are you doing?
Excited, mate. I'm so excited.
Oh,
I'm grateful too, so thank you.
No, we're massively grateful. Like we've said to you before, mate, you're an inspiration to us, so to have you on here means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely class. I know you've been friends with these lads for a while, but it's the first time we've met, and I just wanted to say how excited I am for this conversation and how highly I think of you. I think you're a legend.
Cheers, mate.
So, Joe, give all of our listeners a background on you. Tell us just a little bit info about you, what it is that you do, and then I'd love to get into the story of your life.
Okay, so I'm Joe. I'm a PT, and I also have a stammer, and I've had a stammer since I was six, and it's only in last a few years I've learned to accept it, and just I recognise it has a part of me, and I've just left the army after 6 years, and I'm now a full-time a PT.
That's quite good.
That's incredible, man. So take us back to childhood. So you've had stammer since you were 6 years old. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about school, how it came about and how it impacted you from an early age, I guess.
Yep. I'm not sure how it came about, and I'm not sure anyone actually sort of knows how it comes about. It could be like a pathway in our brain that is not wired correctly. But in terms of school life, it was a tough at times, especially at start of secondary school, because that's a tough sort of time for literally anyone. But if you have got a stammer, it did amplify it a bit, because that was sort of a people all could actually notice it quite a bit.
So in primary school, was there a point where you kind of just thought that you felt a bit different, I guess, isolated from other people?
Yeah, I think I started sort of notice it in year 4, before then, it wasn't as bad, but in year 4, it started to get a bit worse, and then others actually started to actually notice it too.
Yeah. What was it like then because I know, because we chat about it a lot. The reason that I paused there because I was just thinking about like my own experiences though in school as well. And it's a mean place, isn't it?
It's horrible.
It is horrible, and especially kids. Secondary school. It can be a vicious place. It can be a place where bullying exists. It can be a place where prejudice exists, where kids project their own unhappiness onto other kids, and it can be a really tormenting time, and it can be very, very difficult. It's brilliant to have you here in the studio now talking and having achieved so much, being in a place where you're confident, being in a place where you're helping other people achieve their goals. I think it's nothing short of inspiring. I'm going to keep reminding you of how brilliant you are. But inevitably there would have been a time where things were tough, things were difficult, maybe where you didn't know quite what was going on, where there was maybe a few more questions than answers. I imagine, especially in the early days.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit, if you can, about some of the difficulties that came with the not knowing, I guess. We can sit here now and we're very aware of the limitations, if you like, or the things that you found difficult and how you kind of maneuver your way around them, excuse me. But like I said, there would have been a time when it was probably more difficult.
Yeah.
How was that for you, and how did you kind of navigate through them times?
That is a great a question. I just have to think about it. I think in terms of secondary school, it was a lot worse in year 7 up to sort of year 9, because I was just getting into it, and it was a brand new environment, and it was just simple things like answering the a register. That was sort of a challenge for me. Each day I had to sort of like get like, all right, come on, let's get into this. And then I get more nervous, and then obviously I stammer. But as I got older in school, and because I had exercise, I had a good like a bunch of mates. It got better because I got more sort of confident, because I had others around me.
We talk quite a lot about people wanting to do good, but by doing good, they can sometimes end up being either like patronising or condescending, or give overly preferential treatment, but then that sometimes makes you feel worse. Did you feel that you got that at school with teachers, or did you think that they found the right balance with you?
I think it was either or. Either they were sort of too lenient or too sort of harsh, and some were like some I could tell got a little bit frustrated when I stammered, but I don't think it's their fault. Looking it back, I don't think they actually understood it enough to get it. So yeah.
The humility is just it's just amazing, isn't it? Oh mate, honestly, no, it's absolutely incredible. And I think again, I know what I was like growing up, and any opportunity for me to have been the victim, or for other people to have been wrong and me to have been right, I would have latched onto that. I'd have been like, yes.
I'm laughing because I know how true that is.
Yeah. It's so true. But I had quite a privileged upbringing, and I was my own worst enemy. But then I think for you, what obviously was seen as an adversity, like that wasn't an option for you. It was just like, no, like I'm going to use this as a strength. And I know you will be quite you'll openly admit that it's maybe only been within the last couple of years that you've really started to see it that way. But did you ever see it like that early doors? Did you always see it as a hindrance, or was there ever a little bit of light there, maybe thinking there could be more? I don't know.
I think I've always had a little bit of a chip on my a shoulder to sort of prove everyone else wrong. Even in school, there were sort of times I shied away from sort of stuff, but other at times I just thought I'll go for it, but it wasn't sort of like it had no structure or sort of like no path. It was just sort of either or. I was either okay and confident or not confident. There wasn't sort of any sort of in between.
And as an adult now, we're going to get into this in more depth later when we talk about your levels of confidence now. Was there anything that you were aware of at that age that would help give you that confidence? Because I know certainly with myself, you aren't really as aware of that type of thing when you're younger. You're either like feeling shit or like feeling good or feeling worried, but you don't really know why. You don't really know how to handle those emotions. Was there anything that you could do even at that early age? I know you joked about psyching yourself up for answering your name.
It didn't help that at all.
Love that.
Tell us a little bit about that then. Were you aware of these emotions and the dips in and out of confidence? Because you said it went up and down.
I think I was, because I knew in some weeks or even in some months I wouldn't sort of stammer as badly as others. So I did understand it was a up and down sort of a process. It's just that I didn't know how to get more up than it was in down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At what point did you discover exercise, and at what point did you discover it could be a tool to help with the building confidence thing?
Yeah. So I've always exercised ever sort of since I was like a kid. So I've like I've done a football like all normal sort of like of schools sports, but I think I started to recognise it when I started in boxing at 13, and that's when I started sort of like I'll get a lot more confident, yeah, because obviously in boxing it teaches a lot of skills, and you can apply them outside of boxing too. Just not like actual sort of a punching. I didn't apply that. Just put it out there.
Did you realise pretty quickly from when you started boxing? So obviously you've done other sports and other types of exercise before that. Was it like a eureka moment when you started boxing that this is a really good release, I'm learning some good skills here? Or did it take a bit of time for you to kind of, wait a sec, this is a really cool sport I'm engaged in, it's helping me in other aspects of my life? Was it a quick thing, or did it kind of take quite a bit more practice?
A quick thing, yeah. I think I needed that sort of like of discipline and like and commitment and something into work towards, and something to unleash almost sort of like our frustrations in, which I think is a key sort of factor. Yeah.
When we talk about exercise, because we speak to you about this all the time, because we're very fortunate enough that we work closely with you now, and we talk about different byproducts of exercise. And you've mentioned there, like the discipline, we could maybe say calm, we could say mental resilience. You've kind of touched on it there, but if there was any one of those, any one thing, because you mentioned that you were then able to transition these skills to everyday life, is there any one thing that you could thank boxing for? Do you think if you had to pick one, a byproduct of boxing that you were able to then transfer to everyday life? The main lesson, I suppose, that it taught you?
Resilience, I think. Because in boxing it is just sort of obstacle over coming every single all round. If you get hit, you have to sort of like, I'll hit them back. Otherwise it ends up badly. But yeah, I think like it's just how you can sort of like you have to sort of get up, so to speak. Yeah. And carry on.
Yeah, I love that. And it's obviously taught you so much, like you've mentioned. I want to delve a bit into what then led to you becoming a personal trainer, because we know you've touched on that you were in the army, you fell in love with boxing, everything it taught you. At what point did you then say, oh, I can make a career out of this, going into personal training? What was the moment that made you go down that path?
So I started all my PT stuff in lockdown, in the in first sort of lockdown. I just I started a Insta a page and was like oh yeah, I'll post up all workouts and that. I wasn't actually a PT then even, but I thought like I'll just help out. But then I thought, well, I've always liked exercise. I've always enjoyed sort of helping people, and in lockdown I had a lot of time, so I thought it was a perfect opportunity to actually become a PT, and I had literally I had no idea where it would end up, but like here I am now.
I love it. I love how that one little idea, when you're like, you know what, exercise has helped me. People are struggling with the health throughout lockdown. I'm going to go help them. And now you're sitting in the hot seat at Hotel Studio. I'd be keen to actually just jump back one stage, sorry if you don't mind, to when it comes to your decision to join in the army. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that. How did that come about, and what was it about that career that drew you to that path?
Yeah, so I joined that at 16. So just sort of like straight out of school, and I've always been interested in the army, and how sort of like all discipline exercises, and how they've a great emphasis on like on fitness, and it's always it's something I thought it looked pretty cool in terms of what they got up to, and like it's just something I always I could see myself going into and doing okay at. So
yeah. And what sort of lessons did you think you learnt from being thrust into that environment? Because again, it's not my
cup of tea, I'll tell you that. I couldn't do it.
At 16 it was a shock. Like going from sort of a home in environment and safe, just sort of being thrust into the army. And I was sort of like I get up at like at 6 a.m. each day and that, and all like all cleaning, ironing and fitness. It was a shock, but I think because of that, and because of what I learned from it, I grew up a lot quicker than everyone else I know, like who are in like in my peer group. So
yeah, I think it's the similarities between Joe's story there. I'm just thinking there when he said about the growing up quick, because it's similar to what we've discussed with you, and just being thrust into this unnatural world, almost a false world, but then you having to then.
Yeah, I can relate massively. I was actually thinking whilst you were speaking there, I can relate because one of my closest friends, I hope you don't mind me name dropping him, he's called Joe. Grew up with him my whole life. Ironic, coincidental, but he's different Joe. And when we was leaving school, we had no idea what we wanted to do. We were going to go to college, sixth form, what career path was we looking at, and he was, similar to yourself, dead set on going into the paratroopers. And it'll never fail to amaze me how disciplined he was at 16. Like I was thinking, and he's doing like marathons and like, you know, mad runs at like 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. He's very, you know, he's up and he's cleaning. He's very, you know, like at 16 to be like on it with your cleaning and ironing and that kind of stuff was like, it was a foreign world to me at that age. So as you were speaking, then I was thinking back to my pal. I was thinking, yeah, it is really impressive how at such a young age, some people have just got that level of discipline. But then, as you mentioned, Dan, I didn't even think of it. It does kind of resonate to me a little bit because sometimes, you know, the circumstances you're in force you to grow, they force you to change, force you to adapt. Very different stories, of course, you know, mine and yours, but I can fully relate in the sense of sometimes it's just the environment you're in that forces you to change and grow up.
100%.
The question I want to end with is, are you happy that that's how it turned out? Because some people might look at it negatively and almost from a victim perspective, I was forced to grow up so quickly, robbed of a childhood and that kind of attitude. Or do you look at it more from a sense of gratitude of like, I grew up pretty quickly and I became the man I am now, luckily a few years earlier than maybe I would have done?
I go through stages of looking sort of back and I'm thinking I missed out on a lot. But I also look at it and I actually experienced a lot. Before and I was even sort of like I've left a school, so I think I forgot the actual question now. Yeah, sorry, mate. I started speaking. I didn't know where I was going with it.
It was a pretty confusing question, to be fair. I went off on a bit of a tangent.
Danny likes doing this.
Yeah, I just go off on one. Sorry. What I wanted to ask you was, when you do look back at that time of your life, when you was forced to grow up pretty quickly, are you grateful for that time where you grew up quickly, or do you look back at it with a bit of like, oh, I wish I was going out with my mates instead, or are you more kind of, oh, I'm glad I grew up pretty quickly?
I'm grateful. I think because everything I did like in the army, I think has got me to sort of like in here now. So I think it had to happen to actually get here.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah. Brilliant response. I think as well, like again, I say it all the time, and I know, look, every time we end up having a drink, end up hugging you and kissing you on the head and just being like, I can't, like, I'm
making me jealous.
I know. You know what it is.
That's not true, by the way.
It's the maturity, I think, as well. It's the maturity of your answers, Joe, which are really inspiring as well. And what happened to you then once you went? I'd be really curious to know if you were to ever go home in that environment. So I had a mate, he went to the army when we were younger, and then when he would then come back, see us, he would make a point of standing there like that because he was like, oh, I'm so regimented, I need to do that. And I think he was doing it on purpose.
He's giggling like,
Sometimes people think things being regimented is bad. I think an institution, if it's regimented, if it's done the right way, can be good. What was that effect on you? And have you just got your hands out from behind your back?
I think it's good to have a bit of structure in your life, but I think it can sort of be a little bit too much. And sometimes in the army, it was a little bit too much. And I think that is part of the a reason I left, because I just wanted to sort of like I'll do my own thing a bit more. But I think it has taught me how to sort of like how to have structure in my life, and I think that is so important. If you have not got any structure at all, like you just sort of are wandering aimlessly a little bit. I think you have to have some sort of structure.
Yeah, and then I guess it's the same as, like, I suppose any mentorship or any learning journey that you go on. You don't need to take everything at face value. You don't need to adopt absolutely everything, but you take the things that benefit you and then you mold them into your life, which is what you've done. So we'll go back to when you posted these videos in lockdown.
They were awful.
You're still in the army at this point.
Yes, yeah.
And you've obviously see that there's some sort of passion or some sort of fulfillment lurking when it comes to potentially helping other people. Tell us about what happened next.
I think I realised it could all sort of like all changed in March of last year, because I posted up a video on TikTok. I was like the sort of like talking about my own stammer, and it just sort of like it went off. Like it was like I was like, what? Okay, people are sort of interested in this and want to learn a lot more about it. And I think I need that sort of like external or feedback to actually sort of like to think I've got a future in this.
So it was this positive then feedback from something again that we know we've spoken quite openly about, of something that you maybe were nervous of talking about, or would you have posted those videos before, do you think? And then, because I guess it's almost that it's actually went, because it has skyrocketed, it's went from something like, I don't even want to record this video in the first place, to then you finally putting yourself out there and you record it, and not only do people accept it, people are like, fucking hell, this is this is great. So then, this is around the time that we met you.
Yep. On the 6th of March last year.
Wow,
I remember.
Remembers the date. Look at
that. I remember.
I feel bad because I don't remember when I met you two.
I remember when I signed up too. Yeah. Remember that.
I remember signing up. I remember speaking to you on the phone afterwards as well. Just to give again a little bit of context, Joe joined our awarded mental health and exercise coaching, and I remember when you first started the course, Ben, you'll remember as well, we got Joe to record us a wee video just to say how he'd been finding things on the programme since joining. And then fast forward a few months, we met Joe in person, we taught his course, and he sent us another video immediately afterwards. And that is the best before and after I've ever seen within the fitness industry. Because can you remember sitting watching the second video?
I genuinely, honestly felt really emotional by it, because I know how much it would have taken for you to record a video and show your vulnerability in something that like you've said before, you used to see it as a barrier or an obstacle, but now you've turned it into your superpower. So knowing your journey and watching those videos almost side by side and seeing the difference in you in just a year was, well, not less than a year actually, was just absolutely incredible. And I think, is that something do you ever watch your old videos back and look to see and think, actually, I've really improved in my confidence in myself and how I'm putting myself out there? Because now you're always posting reels and videos and stuff, and I think it's brilliant. And obviously the reason we got you on here is just, it's so inspiring. So is that something you ever do, look back and see how far you've came and where you are now?
I have noticed it because obviously I'm a lot more confident on camera now, like in terms of on Insta, on stories on lives, and it is good to actually sort of see how far I've come, because I watched it back and it's in my army accommodation. I've got a backdrop which is like a prison cell. I'm like, Jesus, and I had at that time I had a buzz cut too, so not a good look, but yeah, I could I'm getting a little bit carried away. I can see all the all progress I made, and that is just it's good.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I think I remember you saying before, a lot of people then started to reach out to you that either had a stammer or a speech impediment and reached out to you to say, oh my God, you've flipped the narrative that I was telling in my own head about my own insecurities or vulnerabilities, or the way I was feeling about my stammer or my speech impediment. What did that do for your confidence when you then were getting messages like that? Did that give you just another shot in the arm to give you that validation?
Yeah. I felt after I've sort of I received them, I actually had a bit of like a duty to sort of like I'll keep on posting, but like, because it does help. It can help, and sort of I've like I get a few messages each week, which is nice. So yeah,
it's amazing.
How important is it then for you to change the narrative of what you see as a setback into something that is then a positive and you can use to your advantage? You wear as a badge of honour and then you're proud of it. How important is it to anyone listening to this who feel as if, either they're struggling with anything, whether they're either struggling with anything mentally, whether they have a stammer themselves, who think that this is a setback or something set to challenge them? What advice would you give to these people?
I think it is incredibly important, because if you've have got a fault, if you have got a weakness or a perceived imperfection, it's who you are, and you can't sort of change it, because it's you, and you should recognise it and work on it, but don't let it sort of it set you back, and don't let it stop you. Yeah. I think that's also I think that's why I do what I do now.
Yeah, so powerful. Just taking it back a couple steps to when you first started creating content, posting on TikTok and that kind of stuff. How did that feel when you first started sharing these kind of videos? When, first of all, you was in a place where you felt like you could share it.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I'd love to hear about. And also, secondly, when you first started getting that feedback from people, What did that feel like? Firstly, when you were sharing it, and secondly, when you started getting a bit of feedback. Where was you at mentally? I'd love to hear from you.
I think I was in a good place because I don't really think I would have posted it if I was not in that place. And after I got sort of all good feedback back off it, I just got more and I'm more confident, and yeah, that's basically it.
Love that.
This is such a cliche podcast question, but I think it's one that's so highly relevant to this conversation. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Be up a tune a G, and challenge is a chance to grow, and it's even if you have a setback, it's not a setback, it's just a lesson.
Brilliant. It's amazing, isn't
Unbelievable.
it?
I love how quickly you shared that as well. I didn't even think about it, just like, that's it.
There you
Class.
go. Amazing. So we're going to go into a little challenge to finish off, because we're I know, and you've watched the podcast, you know what it is. Before we go into that, very quickly, can you just tell everyone what's next for you, what's happening now, what you're currently working on, and what's next for you, how's the future looking for Joe Dilling, the Stammer PT?
Yep. So I'm now a full-time a PT, and I coach in person at Forces is strength, and I also I coach online, and I'm working with individuals who are started off in their fitness journey, and in terms of a future, I just want to help as many people as I can. That is such a cliche answer, but it's true. Like, so impact people, help people.
No, honestly, mate, I'm so thankful and grateful for you travelling and coming and doing this with us. And for everything you're doing as well. I know I always embarrass you when I say it, but thank you so much for inspiring me, Ben and Danny. And our last year, some of the stuff that we've been doing wouldn't have been anywhere near as fulfilling, exciting, and meaningful, I guess, if it wasn't for meeting you, honestly. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Absolutely.
I really do.
Agree.
Now, stand the fuck up. We're going to get you...
Nicety's over.
Yeah, nicety's over. Right, we're going to put you through your paces. So what we're going to do is, you've seen it before, if you move the chair out of the way, and then if you stand where you were sitting, perfect. Yeah. So what we are going to do is... You've got 60 seconds, Joey. You know the rules. You've got 60 seconds. You have to hold a squat. You need to answer as many questions as possible within this time. And then your total amount of questions answered will get added to the leaderboard. How are we feeling about this?
Yeah, good, yeah.
Oh, he's so confident.
I'm prepared for it.
He's so confident. So Ben is going to time. Danny is going to ask the questions. I will count you down. As soon as I say one, we'll get you into the squat. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
What's your favourite colour?
Black.
What's your favourite cuisine?
Indian.
Nice. What's the first thing you notice about someone when you meet them?
Hair.
Nice. What's the best compliment you could receive?
I've changed.
Oh, I love that.
What's your favourite film?
And Rocky for
So good. Class. If you could be any animal, what would it be?
a tiger.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Energetic, and compassionate, and kind.
Hey, go on, Joe.
On the bell.
Class.
On the bell.
right, man.
And to be honest, I'd notice people's hair if I'm walking about with a buzz cut all the time. That was great, mate. Well
I
done.
wish I had that hair. Mate, a massive thank you. Again, I'm so excited to put this episode out there. I think we're going to be able to inspire so many people. Quickly, before we finish, where can people find you on Instagram if they would like to reach out to receive personal training from you?
At the stammer PT Insta and Facebook.
Brilliant, man.
Love it.
Love it. Joey, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, and I'm sure our listeners will be as inspired as we are.
What a privilege. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Wow, what a conversation. I hope you enjoyed listening to that just as much as we enjoyed recording it. And hopefully you will see how Joe has inspired us and just willing to take this obstacle, this barrier that he felt he had, and turn that into his superpower. Joe is just one of the most inspirational people I have met, and it's been an absolute pleasure having him on podcast. So if you enjoyed this week's episode, please share it with a friend, share it with a family member, share it to your stories on Instagram, and remember to like or follow us on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on. Take care, and until next time, we'll see you then.